Yo, what is the upskis, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the GXGamerCast. We're on episode 64, the Nintendo 64. You'd think I'd be doing an N64 thing, but I'm not that smart. But today, we're doing Baldur's Gate on the GamerCast, my little gaming show, where once a week I ramble about video games. I love video games, so I talk about everything video games. Old games from my past, games that I'm playing currently, top 10 list. I got a versus series that I did one last week, Dead Space versus Resident Evil. I'll just put up two things against each other and they battle it out for supremacy. So if you like video games, you might like this little show right here. But before we get into the meat and potatoes, if you will, of this episode, Baldur's Gate 3, let's talk about what I've been up to over the last week or so. And I always encourage you, the listener, let me know what you've been up to over the last whatever. It's been Halloween, so please let me know. Have you been watching some scary-ass movies? Throw out your scariest movies to me, and I will let you know if they're scary or not, because there's not very many movies that scare me, and yeah, I would love to hear your suggestions. TV shows, if you're into a TV show, you just can't stop watching it, let me know. What are you watching? I would like to know. And of course, what video games are you playing right now? We are literally in, I believe, the golden age of video games. There's just so much out there. I can't keep up with all the video games, so let me know what you're playing. You playing Spider-Man 2? Did you get Mario Wonder? I didn't get either of those yet. But anyway, let's talk about what I've been up to over the last week. It was a hell of a week for me. I got the Halloween bug big time. I watched a whole bunch of horror movies this week. So let's go down. I watched 3 horror movies this week to celebrate Halloween and go through the list. You know, some were better than others. Let's start off with one that was just okay. We got Gaia. This one, I think, was on Crave, and it was okay. It wasn't very scary. The best thing about this movie, I would say, was like the costumes and like the set of this movie. It kind of focuses around kind of a mushroom fungus situation that's going on. Very reminiscent. I definitely got Last of Us vibes from this movie big time, but some of the costumes look good. I personally didn't get scared, didn't get all that drawn into this movie. It was okay. Not really much to go on with that one, but Gaia, you know, it wasn't bad. Some people might enjoy it. It was just meh. Moving on, we got The Boogeyman. Now, this one was rather interesting. My wife tapped out. She said she didn't want to have anything to do with this movie, so I said, okay, fine, I'll watch it. So The Boogeyman, this one was on Disney, and I really liked this movie. I thought The Boogeyman was really good. Like, it drew me in really quickly. Like, the opening scene, I mean, is quite aggressive. You're like, all right, I'm in for a situation right here. And I enjoyed it. I thought the scares were good. A little bit more classic horror. Like, you got your jump scares, you got we're working with a lot of dark and light. This monster boogeyman, if you will, in this movie focuses in on attacking or doing whatever it's going to do in the dark, and they do a lot of pretty fun, creative things using the lighting in this movie. I thought the characters, some were very awful. Like, there was one girl in it who apparently is her friend. She was just an absolute bitch. She was awful. I had at least like 4 arms in the air, like, what the hell are you doing moments. So there was definitely some stupidity to this movie, but, you know, it was a fun, pretty damn solid horror movie. I quite enjoyed it. I'd give that like a solid 7 out of 10. I thought it was pretty good. Couple good scares. And then my favorite one that I watched this week was Pearl, on which I think this was on Prime, and this is in the atmosphere, the world of X. I watched that movie last year, really enjoyed that. So this is kind of like the prequel to X, following the same kind of character. Mia Goth is amazing in this movie, and the movie itself is very good. I was getting like old school Carrie vibes, like from the 70s. I kind of got that vibe from this movie, and there was a scene later in the movie, it won't spoil anything, but it literally brought tears to my eyes because the performance and the acting and just this monologue scene from Mia Goth was just breathtaking. Her acting was superb, and that scene, like the following scene right after it, was so chilling. It was wow, it was a very, very good movie. I'd give that a solid 8 out of 10. I would say I don't think you really have to worry about which one you watch first between X and Pearl. I watched X first, and I don't think you have to watch them in order, but I would recommend do X first and then Pearl. Both very, very good movies. Very weird, very different. Mia Goth, again, is spectacular. Really liked it. That was my favorite one of the 3 horror movies that I watched this week. So if you can only pick one, I would say go with Pearl. That was quite good. In terms of TV shows, my wife and I finished off the fall of The House of Usher. Great show. I was, really into it. It was a really, really good story. It definitely went a little heavy on the Edgar Allan Poe towards the end, which is fine. It's fine. It's just that I've kind of seen it done a few times, but really good show. Just kind of out of nowhere, I was like, oh, that looks good. And it was, really good bingey watch. Like, we crushed that show in no time. Highly would recommend Fall of the House of Usher for, I know Halloween's over, but I still have the Halloween aura personally, so if you're looking for something, you still got the scary bug, Fall of the House of Usher was quite good. And also Goosebumps, this one, on Disney Plus, I do believe. This was a pleasant surprise. We got really into this one as well. I grew up on Goosebumps. I loved Goosebumps. More the TV show. My sister had the books. I didn't read the books. I more or less just looked at the covers of the books, and I really liked the TV show. So I was pretty excited to see what they were going to do with this, and it was actually really, really good. Now, I don't want to spoil anything, but they do... they kind of link together a bunch of the old stories from the OG Goosebumps, so I thought it was rather interesting the way that they were able to kind of piece a bunch of stories together, and some of the characters were really good. I believe it's Justin Long. He's in a whole bunch of stuff. He's from Dodgeball, the goofy guy, but he was excellent in it. It was a really good watch. I was pleasantly surprised at how good this was. So Goosebumps, check that one out. And that's about everything that... Oh, sorry, one more show, Shoresy. Been watching Shoresy as well. Finished off the first season, and I liked it. I liked it more than I thought I was going to. I'm a little hit and miss with Letterkenny. It was just... loved it at first, and then it just got oversaturated. There's just way too much Letterkenny getting dropped, and it's just too much. It's a very... fast. I don't know, the line delivery in Letterkenny and even Shoresy can be a little bit annoying. Like, people just don't talk that way, and yes, I mean, I liked Shoresy more, honestly, than I did Letterkenny. Now, I hadn't watched a whole lot of Letterkenny, now maybe like 3 or 4 seasons, and I was like, oh yeah, take a break from Letterkenny, and I was getting that with Shoresy a little bit. There's a little less of that, like, really weird line delivery. I know that's what the show is known for, but I personally not huge on that, but there were some fucking things in Shoresy that I absolutely loved. Shoresy, the character himself, was quite good. I love whenever he would ask a question, he would cut the person off with a huh. That got me every time. I loved it. Getting into season 2 now, it's pretty good. Like, I love hockey. There's not a whole lot of hockey shows and stuff like that out there. This is definitely one of the better hockey themed shows that I've ever seen. It's really good. So if you're looking for a good laugh, I don't think it's for everybody. There's a certain, like, type of comedy to the show that it may not hit with everybody, but I'm enjoying it. Shoresy's a pretty good, easy watch, so I would recommend that. Now let's talk some fucking video games, but not Baldur Gate just yet. So, games that I've been playing this week. I finished off Cocoon. Really, really good game. Holy moly. Really smart. I mean, great puzzle game. I loved the length of it. It was like 3-4 hours, and it was just pleasant. Very, very mysterious. I was like very kind of proud of myself that I kind of figured out what was going on in the end, because it's very up in the air. You're kind of like the whole way through the game, I was like, I hope I'm doing, like, I'm not like, setting the world up to be destroyed or something. Like, I have no idea what I'm doing, but it's very, very cool. The puzzles were awesome. Like, I'm not going to say that it's, like, Portal and this game are very different, but I got a feeling of, like, the first time I played Portal, I'm like, oh, wow, this is incredibly creative. I'm getting stumped. I'm thinking, and, like, I will admit, I had to look up online how to do some of the puzzles in this game, because I just wasn't thinking that deeply. It's a rather thought-provoking puzzle game. Very, very cool. Love the look of it. And now I'm definitely going to go down the rabbit hole. I definitely want to play Inside. I've been meaning to play Inside for a very long time, and I'm probably just going to bang that out soon. And probably do Limbo as well, and just see where this company began and see where it's ended up now with Cocoon. But highly recommend Cocoon. It's an extremely relaxing, beautiful looking game, mysterious, good puzzle. Like I liked starting my day out and kind of finishing my day out with Cocoon, and just kind of, I don't know, I like, it's a good brain warming up kind of game. I don't know. I really, really enjoyed Cocoon, so I would highly recommend you check this one out. It's on Game Pass. I don't know how much it is on just regular, but if it's probably really cheap, I would imagine. So check it out. It was pleasantly delightful. Cocoon. And now Castlevania, Circle of the Moon. Holy shit. So this game has literally, it's inspired me for an episode that I'm going to do sometime this month. I'm going to be talking about the hardest bosses at some point this month, because holy shit, this game has been kicking my ass. Some of the hardest bosses I think I have ever played. Wow. And I've played some pretty hard games, and this game is, wow, kicking my ass. So I'm definitely going to be talking about some hard bosses this month. Because of this game. But I can't, put it down, though. It is just really, really fun, really strong Metroidvania game. And now that I'm understanding some of the systems a little bit better now, I kind of get the magic system. It's really actually quite cool. So we'll see. I'm at the end now. I'm literally at the final boss fighting Dracula right now. I just gotta fucking beat that motherfucker, and I'm done. And I am... it's not a very long game. It's like 6 hours, so I might just dive into the next Castlevania Advance game, because it's really, really fun. It's hella hard. I was definitely raging this week at certain times with some of these fucking bosses, but wow. Yeah, it's a little bit gotta get good, but... yeah, man, pleasantly just loving this Castlevania game. Yeah, I'm going to be playing some more of that, and we'll see where that goes. Obviously, been playing through Baldur's Gate 3 this week. I am plowing through it. We'll be talking about that in just a moment. And then Starfield. I think that's it, y'all. I think that's it with me and Starfield. I tried, but it's I think 5 times now, it's putting me asleep. I played it literally... just waking up, I got my coffee, and I'm trying to play some Starfield. I'm falling asleep. It's so fucking boring. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't think I can do it. I think I just got to put it to bed and move on to other things, because I'm trying, and it's just not hitting, man. It's just not there. So we'll see if I don't know if I want to do a review and really get into depth as to why Starfield for me is not hitting. Maybe I will. If you want that, just let me know, and I could definitely do a full review episode for Starfield, and I can go into depth as to why this game isn't hitting for me, because I know why, and it's a little disappointing, but I can get into that another episode. So let's fucking talk about Baldur's Gate. I have been waiting so long to talk about this game, but Halloween month kind of got in the way, and now it is time. Let us talk about Baldur's Gate 3. Oh baby, Baldur's Gate 3. Wow, I am so happy this game freaking exists. This is a game-changing game for me right here. So I don't have a history at all with Baldur's Gate. I am aware of the series. I've known of it. I've been curious of the ones, especially some of the ones on PS2 I've been seeing. When I was aware of those games, they were rather expensive and very hard to find. I've never seen a dark, Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance. I've tried to find out in the wild, never have seen it. You can get it now on PlayStation, but I've never played any of the Baldur's Gate games, and I had no knowledge of Baldur's Gate 3. I had not heard of anything of this game. I hadn't seen it on any major upcoming list, most anticipated list, and then this game dropped out of nowhere. I saw the reviews for this game. They were higher than Breath of the Wild. They were higher than Tears of the Kingdom. I was like, what is this game? Who is Larian Studio? What is all this? So I went down the rabbit hole, started doing some minor research into what this game is, and it's got this Dungeons and Dragons kind of theming to it. There's dice rolling. There's these crazy characters. It's a deep RPG, and I was just like, wow, now that sounds impressive. And I have to admit, I was extremely curious, not just by the reviews, but I just thought the sound of this game, the story, the dice rolling, it just sounded all so very appealing. And then you start hearing the opinions of this game. People are playing it, and you're hearing these stories. You're like, wow, that sounds very, very appealing. It sounds almost unreal, some of the stuff, the stories that you're hearing about this game, and just obviously the insanely positive reviews that have come out for this game. So, yeah, I mean, my interest was piqued. I was planning on maybe playing it sometime in the future, and then my sister, she's not a hardcore gamer, but she plays games. She more so plays PC games, and then she recommended the game to me, and I said, that's it. My sister's playing it. I gotta get in on this, so I bought Baldur's Gate, a rare game that I bought full price. I rarely do this, and it's a game that I thought, I took a risk on it. It's a game that I've, a type of game, these hardcore RPGs, kind of more PC style RPGs. They're calling them CRPGs. I don't really know what the fuck that means, but I don't usually have, I've played a few of them and not tend to enjoy them very much, and this one, thankfully, is an absolute smash hit for me. So I've been playing this game probably since the beginning of October now, and it's been my main squeeze for the last month, and it's very, very fun. Wow. I haven't been this into an RPG, especially a story in an RPG like this, maybe since Fallout 3. This game has drawn me in. I mean, Jesus, there's so much to talk about with this game. I mean, the characters, the story, the look of this game. I'll try my best to explain what this game is. So people call it a CRPG. In my terms, it's kind of like a top-down, like, strategy RPG a little bit. It's not necessarily top-down. You can play it top-down. Certain camera angles allow for that, but it's kind of a strategy turn-based game, which I know turns a lot of people off, but once I heard the word strategy, I instantly got extremely turned on and interested, turned on sexually, if you will. If that's what you want, that's fine. But I love strategy games, and it definitely, when I got into it, I got very reminded of XCOM, and I adore XCOM. Fucking love XCOM. And it's not exactly like XCOM or anything, but it definitely feels like that in the combat, and I love it. I love that strategy. Like, all right, what am I gonna do here? They got the percentile, so like, for example, I want to swing my sword. It's like, all right, I have a 80% chance of hitting it, and like, just, it's so very deep, right? There's just so much going on. But it's not, I'm not overwhelmed, honestly. Maybe a little bit at the beginning, but mostly because, like, I was just a lot of, like, all right, what does this spell do? What does that spell do? What does this do? And once you get a grips of what your spells are doing and stuff like that, it's amazing. And I am playing this on PS5. I don't have a PC to play such a game. And I will say, like, I am a bona fide console gamer. I'm not very... I've played PC. I'm more of a mouse PC guy. I'm not very good with anything keyboard related. But I think it plays fucking awesome on PlayStation. I will say that. I think it's great. It uses the radial menus, which I'm fine with. I think it works very well with the PlayStation. My sister watched me play it for a little bit. She played it on PC, and she's like, wow, it looks so much different than PC, because on PC, you could just have kind of everything laid out on the bottom and have everything hotkeyed. I mean, I imagine that's fairly standard, I imagine, for PC, but I think the radial menu works really solid for Baldur's Gate 3 on console. I was very nervous about it, because when Baldur's Gate came out. The reviews for PC were very high, but I had to wait a little bit for the console releases to come out, and sadly Xbox people are waiting even longer, which sucks because everyone needs to be playing this game. It's amazing. But yeah, the reviews came out for PS5 and they were great. I heard nothing wrong with it, and I can confirm that. I have really no issues with the controls. The only thing that's an issue, which I think is probably an issue on PC as well, is there are some camera issues. There's some camera problems that, I'm getting stuck in a mountain and stuff. I'm just trying to see. It's a little bit awkward to traverse this game as well. It's a little bit awkward that way. Like, to make like a jump, you kind of have to like press a button, and like it's definitely not as fluent as it would be in a lot of other games, but once you get used to it, it's really not that bad. It's just maybe a little bit of a shock to the system, but I'm into it now. Now I will say I'm probably like in the 80-90 hour mark now of the game, so I don't know, like I'm still kind of debating in my head as we're going through this episode if this is a review or an impressions. Like I've definitely played enough of the game. I'm in Act 3 now, where I think I could give it a score, but I don't think I really hamper a lot on the finale of a game. Like that's very important to me. I want you to stick that landing. It at least generates like a 0.5 in the score. If you stick the landing, I'll probably bump you up a 0.5. If you fuck up the landing really bad, I'll probably knock you down a 0.5. So the ending for me is really important, but so far, I mean, Jesus, man, I love this game. Absolutely love it. It's going to be a very, very fun debate this year for my personal game of the year. I do things a little bit differently than other people. I include every single new game that I play from, it doesn't matter what year it's from, it all gets tossed into the shuffle, but I have played some big hitters from this year, so it's going to be a really fun Xyz Awards this season. A shameless little plug there. But yeah, I'm deep into Baldur's Gate now. I have finally gotten to Baldur's Gate. I didn't realize it was going to take so very long to get to the name of the game. But wow, what a journey it has been. And I don't know what much more I want to talk about in terms of the gameplay. I mean, it's a... Oh boy, it's a deep RPG, like I said. So the combat, I love it personally. I know it doesn't hit for everybody, but like I said, I love strategy RPGs. So it's fucking scratching the itch, really, really good for me right now. I'm playing as I think I'm just a straight up wizard. I started out as like an animal handling thing. It wasn't going very well. I wasn't very good with it. I thought it was very cool sounding, like to turn into an animal at any time. It had its moments, but I ended up just becoming a wizard, something more familiar to me, but there's a whole variety of classes to choose from. The character creation is very strong. Like, it's not the best one. I still think Cyberpunk's was a little bit better, but a very, very good character creator in Baldur's Gate. I am like a fucking 7 foot tall, buff as fuck wizard with no penis, and I talk like a girl. I identify as nothing. I'm just buff. I'm just big and buff. That's all I want to be. And oh God, man, the characters of this game, Jesus Christ, man, I love these characters. This is gonna go down as some of my favorite cast of characters of any video game ever. I mean, I don't think I've gotten this attached to a group of characters. Maybe since Mass Effect 2, I was very, very attached to that group of characters. I mean, there's others, just I off of the top of my head, like topping out of that list is like Mass Effect 2, and I'm getting that feeling out of this group of characters. I mean, oh my goodness, like, I mean, Asterion got to me very, very early, very just eccentric character. Now I don't want to spoil anything. I mean, I'm just going to say he's a very eccentric character. I really, really like, I like all the characters, man. The one that, like, Asterion's probably maybe one of the ones I don't like to use that much in combat. He has his uses, but when shit hits the wall, and I will say that Baldur's Gate 3 is not like an easy game. Like I have reloaded a million times. I've reloaded mid-fights. I've reloaded just a zillion times. I quick save all the time in this game because there's so many fucking choices. And we'll get to the choices. Oh my God, we haven't even gotten to choices yet. But the combat is it's challenging. It can be very challenging, and it should be in a strategy RPG. That's what, if it's easy, then there's, that takes away from the fun of the strategy part. It's like, oh, I like to be able to think, and this game makes me think. It's like, oh, or it makes me go, oh wow, I didn't think about that. I want to do that, and I'll reload it and try that out. And it's like, oh, that was a way better strategy. So I love that shit, but it's not easy. There's definitely been some fights that I just can't do. I just like, all right, I'm going to take the long way around because I can't fight that thing. It's way too hard. And yeah, so it's not the easiest game. I wouldn't recommend this game to newcomers of video games. It's a pretty hardcore RPG, but don't let the word hardcore scare you away if you played RPGs before. If you've played a bunch before, you'll pick it up. It's not impossible. I can do it, you can do it. So the characters, man, Jesus. So Asterion is amazing, and every character has like their own thing going on. So story-wise, very basic story laydown. You get this you start out on this ship filled with these mind flayer tentacle alien motherfuckers, and you crash, and then you meet a whole bunch of other people that the mind flayers put this tadpole in your eye, and like shit gets weird. Like, you're seeing things, you're unlocking these powers maybe if you want to. I am personally, I'm going down that path. I'm fucking doing it. Let's go. And yeah, so you're trying to basically figure out what the fuck is going on, what is in my eye, and how can I get it out, what the fuck. But along the way, you're just getting pulled in all these fucking different directions. So you get introduced to this group of characters really early. You find them all kind of scattered out, in the first area. And Will is interesting. Now, Will, he's probably now I still like Will quite a bit, but he's probably the one I'm least into at this time. His story is rather interesting. He's got this interesting kind of demonic back thing going on there, and it's quite cool. And along the way, you're just kind of like, things will happen, and you move along with that character's story, and you can do things or not do things for them. Like, I imagine characters can die. I'm doing my best to keep everybody alive and safe, and so far so good in that way. But I've definitely run into times where it's like, okay, if you do this, then this guy's gonna die. So you might want to double think about that. It's like, oh, okay, whoa, okay. So yeah, Will is maybe, like I said, the least compelling, I think, for right now, but he is still very, very cool. I like him also quite a bit. And then there's Shadowheart. Oh my god, I love Shadowheart. She's so cute, she's so pretty, but she's also kind of crazy and badass, and oh man, like, she does not fuck around. I went down with her story path and kind of just let her do her thing, and I was like, whoa, man, like, shit got real with Shadowheart, and I wish she would love me, but she's very hard to get, and she doesn't like me very much, I don't think, and I wish I could change that. So this is an M-rated game. I'll throw that out there. There is a lot of sexual content to this game. Not like aggressive. Like, I mean, you will see a penis. More so in the character creation. I don't think I've seen a penis outside of that, but you see some bum, you see some booby, it's there. It's not a big deal. It is what it is. But there's a lot of sexual activities you can do with your characters. You could just be friends with them. You can go down those paths. I've heard that they get very, very interesting. Now, myself personally, let's talk about Lizel a little bit. So Lizel, she is kind of she's called a Githyanki, I think, or something like that. She's kind of your ogre-looking kind of character, and she is pure badass. She scares the fuck out of me, and going down her relationship path is extremely fun. It is very, very funny. I kind of had this, like, three-way situation going on with Lizel, Asterion, and myself, and eventually Asterion just tapped out. He's like, honestly, dog, I'm scared of her. Like, she scares me, and I'm gonna back out from this one. I was like, I appreciate that. I appreciate your honesty, and I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna go down that path alone. That's okay. So yeah, there's a lot of that going on. It's great. I'm really loving it. The relationships with the characters are fucking fantastic. Lizel, and they're not stereotypical. Like, you would think they're like, they definitely don't like, they don't feel like a character that I've ever kind of dealt with before. Like, they have certain characteristics of other ones, but like Lizelle is just a fucking legend to me. She's so very intense and so very rough, but also very tender. She has that sweet side to her as well. Like, oh my god, man. Gale, goddamn, this fucking wizard. Oh, he's such a goofball. He starts out really annoying because he's like, oh, you gotta give me these, like, magical items, and, like, I'll absorb them, because he's got this, like, kind of curse thing going on. It was admittedly a little bit annoying at the beginning, but now I'm, like, through that, and I love Gale. He's fantastic. In combat, he's a very strong wizard. Him and we, like, combo fireballs. Like, holy shit. Like, these fireballs, at this time in the game for me, very powerful fireball spells, and, like, we can send off in any battle, like, 6 to 7 of them, and we just slaughter everybody. It is a massacre, and it's a lot of fun. Like, everybody's a different class. Like, Lizelle is your classic, like, brawler. She could just go in, close combat, fuck people up big time. Shadowheart is interesting. She's kind of moved into kind of a battle mage situation, medic. She's a healer, but she can also attack, so she's interesting. Myself and Gale, we're both wizards, so we like to... But, oh my god, there's just so many fucking spells, man. You got, like, necromancy spells, you can summon creatures, you can fucking mind control people, you can blind them, you can send off fucking shit-stinking clouds, walls of fire, ice, you can fly, you can disappear, there's so much variety to combat, man. It makes it amazing. It makes it so much fun. Like, I can literally sit there sometimes just thinking about what move I want to do. I'm like, oh, do I want to hit him with this spell? Oh, do I want to mind control him? Oh, do I want to hit him with a confuse and just watch them go fucking crazy? Do I want to mind control this dude so he starts killing everybody in there? Do I want to shoot this fucking barrel and make the oil explode? It's deep, bro. It's deep, but in a great way. Like, there's just so much variety to the combat and spells, but... yeah, Shadowheart is like this battle mage medic. Asterion is like a rogue, and he uses shadows. He likes to sneak attack. He could be very useful in certain situations, other times not. Oh my god, what's her name? Karlach. Oh my god. I know she's probably a lot of people's favorite character. I mean, yeah, how can you not like her? She is so fucking likable. She's this red devil. She's got this, like... she's got a fucking, like a engine, like the sun inside of her is like her heart and an engine. She's just got this fiery personality. She's awesome. She's over the top. She's got this, like, Australian accent, and she's amazing. I fucking love her. She's so freaking cool, and she's another, not quite as, like, destructive as Lizelle is. Like, when I send Lizelle into battle, she just fucking slaughters everybody. I'm like, oh, I love you so much, Lizelle. She's like my main squeeze. I need her in my party. I feel like naked if she's not in my party, but Karlach is a close second place. She does like a frenzy thing where she just fucking goes nuts, and she can do, like, extra attacks and stuff. She is fantastic. Really like her character. I like her storyline where, like, literally, like, because of her internal engine thing, she runs very, very hot, so, like, you literally can't touch her or she'll burn you alive. And you're literally just trying to help her so that she can fucking hug you. She just wants to hug someone. She just wants to feel someone's touch. It's really touching and an amazing little quest line right there. It's just, all this game. And they got some side characters as well, like... you go to your camp and you find a dog named Scratch, and Scratch is amazing. Like, you can play fetch with Scratch, you can pet him, and yeah, it's really awesome. There's cats in the game, which is awesome. The cats are all very mean, which, I mean, come on, man. Like, cats are not all mean, but in Baldur's Gate, they're generally really mean, but I love the fact that they're there. And there's this fucking owlbear cubs that I found. Now, I accidentally killed their mother. I didn't want to. I tried everything that I could to not kill her, but she attacked me and I had to defend myself. But anyway, this little adorable owlbear cub shows up to your camp, and it is just the fucking cutest thing. I love like I said, I've not done any, like, Dungeons and Dragons and stuff like that, so I don't know if any of these creatures, I imagine this is all stuff from the Dungeons and Dragons lore and story and stuff, but oh my god, I love this world. I love it. It's just so fucking cool. And I don't always love fantasy and stuff like that, but I'm really, really into this. I'm into it more than The Witcher 3, which I finally got into this year, and that game was fucking magical, especially the DLC, but this game is equally up there with the weirdness and the creativity and the fantasy. Wow. But yeah, this owlbear thing is one of the cutest fucking things I've ever seen in my life. I want it. I want one in real life. I want it. Just give me it, please, for God's sakes. So yeah, that's the characters. The characters are insane. The story, like I said, without spoiling anything, it's fucking amazing. It's so freaking cool, and I'm not a story guy. I rarely get drawn into stories, especially when it comes to RPGs, because RPGs, especially nowadays, are so very, very vast, and you can go hours, days without, dealing with the next part of the story, and you're like, oh, fuck. I haven't done a main quest line story in a while. What the hell's going on? And Baldur's Gate does a very good job at keeping you engaged with what's going on. The journal system is quite good. It's really just laid out there, what is going on. This is what you're doing. Yeah, it's very just fucking out there. A lot to explore. Everything is just so cool. There isn't a wasted interaction. Everything is cool, and it really comes down to the choices and the dice rolls. So let's talk about that for a little bit. The choices in Baldur's Gate are fucking insane, man. Everything carries weight. A simple choice can lead you down a path that could take you down a whole array of situations. And this decision, it's like a butterfly effect, and there's so much of it going on. It's kind of what is destroying Starfield for me, I'm thinking, while I'm playing Baldur's Gate, because Baldur's Gate is just so fucking next level, and I'm not trying to shit on Starfield. I think it's really good, but just in comparison to playing Baldur's Gate, the just talking to people, and I'm just so drawn into what they're saying, and it just feels so empty in Starfield. It's just so fake, and it just feels so much more real in Baldur's Gate. Every little thing I'm drawn into. It's really weird. I don't know how they're doing it, but they're doing it, and it's sensational. So all these choices you're making, rather, as simple as to open a door, to not open a door, to go down this path or to go up that path. It can lead you into a big fight, or it can lead you into meeting this person and then going down a quest line with these people. It's awesome, man. There's been numerous times where I've sat there thinking, I'm shit, what do I want to do? Because there's so much weight to the decision, and not in a bad way that I'm oh fuck, this can ruin my game, but I'm really what could this do in my storyline? Where do I want to go with this? What do I want to do? And it's really refreshing, man. I can't say I've had a feeling like this in a long time, where I'm oh man, this is really, I feel this is a really big moment right here. I felt some of them where I'm ooh, maybe I made the wrong choice here. Oh, I'm just going to lay in my bed. And I have the option to reload. I always make a quick save before any major situations. If I feel like I've done something really stupid, or if I wanted to play it out in a different way, I can do that. You can do that too. It's totally up to you. But that's what I've been doing, and shit, bro. Some of them play out so differently. It's crazy. I've changed my mind on a couple of things, and I'm whoa, that played out so much better, or worse, or whatever. It's really fucking cool. And then the dice rolls, they're so quick and satisfying. It's so sweet, man. I would love to play Dungeons and Dragons or something like that, but I just, I don't have the friend group. I don't have the time, I don't think, to get into something that crazy. But I love the dice rolls in Baldur's Gate. It is so quick and satisfying. It's not for every decision. It's not oh, do you want to take a left? Roll the dice. And it's no, you don't get to go left. It's not like that. It's almost like persuasion. If you're talking to someone, it's oh, I want to try and persuade them that it's this way. And you can roll the dice. And it's okay, you need a 12. And you rolled a 13. Boom, you're good to go. And you can use a variety of boosts, you got all like potions, you got spells that can help you out with that kind of stuff. Certain characters are better at dialogue, like Asterion. He's more witty. He's better with his words than other characters like Lizel. She's definitely better at like intimidating people, but yeah, they'll generally lead you into getting into fights. So yeah, there's a whole variety of ways to deal with situations. You can, like I said, you can talk your way out of it. You can offer them gold. You can trick them. You can fucking brainwash them. It's amazing. And then these little quick dice rolls are just so satisfying. And they give you so many options with the rolls. Like you can re-roll a certain amount of times per rest and stuff like that. So you can do these like quick rests on your travels. You could do the full rest where you go to camp, and going to camp is like a treat, man. Like you're like, all right, I'm done for the day. I'm going to go to camp, and you can talk with all the characters. And I would highly recommend you just kind of go around camp all the time and just kind of chat with everybody, learn their stories, get closer with them. That's definitely a good way to get into bed with them if that's what you're after. Go talk to them and see what's up and figure out what they're all about. And a lot of the time the game will just be, just continue traveling on with Asterion, and eventually you'll come up to something and it'll take you down the next part of his story. But geez, man, it's amazing. Like I'm so into this game. The combat is just so fucking fun for me. Like I can play it for hours and hours and hours and hours, and I just don't want to stop. It's very, very engaging and fun. And the story is crazy good. And let's talk about some of the basic stuff. The soundtrack is outstanding, absolutely amazing. This soundtrack is insane. I would have to stop and listen to it every now and again because it kind of fades into the background a little bit. Maybe I should just turn it up, but it's just so epic. It's so good. Oh my god, it's like Skyrim, but even better. Like Skyrim soundtrack. I mean, love or hate Skyrim, you gotta give it the soundtrack, man. Like, that shit was fucking crazy. But Baldur's Gate 3 is up there with its intensity and that fantasy style. It's got the lutes, it's got the flutes, it's got the little fucking, I don't know, it's got those old school sounds, and it just sounds so good. It fits the theme so goddamn good. And when you get into some of the big battles and stuff, the music is so epic. You got the choirs going it's like, I get chills. Like, you get chills when it really kicks in. And there's been like probably 9 or 10 times where it really kicks in and you just hear it in the background. You're like, holy fuck, that music is crazy good. The music is crazy good. And the voice acting might be the best I've ever heard. The voice acting in Baldur's Gate is incredible from top to bottom. I don't know if there's, like, even the dogs sound good. The dogs are giving you the best dog performances you've probably ever heard. It's amazing. Like, it's just, I don't know what more you can say than it is just amazing. Every single character just feels so personable, and it doesn't feel like a video game. It feels like you're having conversations with people. And I literally just got to like the first like major town that I've ever gotten to now that I've gotten to Baldur's Gate, and it's very similar to Horizon. When I got into Horizon's big city, it was bustling, people are chatting. Now it's not as crazy as Horizon, but like there's a bunch of people chatting. I got to this like circus, and then I went into the circus, and there's a whole bunch of like music going on. There's fucking fire and magic things going on in the background. It's really fucking cool, man. It's there with I think it's a little bit better than The Witcher 3. It just feels like its own world. It feels very engrossing when you get in there. It's outstanding, man. And back to the voice acting. I mean, oh my god, it is. I don't know I can't think of a game that might have better voice acting from top to bottom. Like, Shadowheart is just so fucking good. Like, oh my god, she's so good. I love her accent. She's so intense and like witty, and I love talking to everybody. Like, there's a lot of games that I avoid talking to people, like Starfield again. Like, In contrast to Baldur's Gate, I am skipping so much dialogue in Starfield. Like, it's delivered so slowly and boring, but in Baldur's Gate, I listen, I hang on to every fucking word that everyone has to say. Little character, side character, you could talk to, like, ghouls and, like, fucking monsters. Like, everyone's got something to say, and it's all good. Like, it's really fucking wild. Like, I can't imagine how much work was put into all the lines and the lines of dialogue in this game. And it also looks amazing. Like, it's not the most it's not the best looking game I've ever seen, but for how big it is, like, for an RPG of this size, it is a stunningly good looking game. The character models look really good. The facial features, though not the best, it hits the mark. It definitely isn't, like, taking me out of it. I'm like, oh, look at his derpy little face or something. It's like, no, it's a very good looking game. The mouths are on point. They're matching up with the words that they're saying. It's fuck, man. The vistas look really good. I've been into a variety of areas. I've been underground. There's this, like, underground mushroom fucking place, and it was beautiful. It was like most underground areas, some of them are very, just cave. It's just, oh, okay, it's just rock and brown and not a whole lot going on. But in Baldur's Gate, it's like there's mushroom spores and there's gases and there's just these magical colors of rocks and shit like that. It is absolutely outstanding. I've gone to, like, these astral planes where you're going, like, to other worlds and shit. So it's got, like, this cosmic fucking areas I've gone to. I've been into your, like, just classic forests and stuff look really good. You start out on this, like, beach area that is really fucking stunning, and there's, like, the mind flayers have this, like, alien technology, and I've been on some of their ships, and it's like that's where it feels really like XCOM. I'm like, whoa, I'm in, like, a spaceship like XCOM, and especially when you're fighting, like, these mind flayer creatures, it's like, damn, dude, this game is absolutely outstanding. Like, holy fucking shit. I ran into this really just the game is quirky. It's a very quirky game. Some weird fucking shit happens in this game. The sex scenes alone are very weird, especially with Lizelle, and I haven't even been into all that many sex scenes. And I came across this little barn. Well, it wasn't that small of a barn, but I came across a barn, and there were some very naughty sounding sounds coming out of said barn. And I was like, I'm checking this shit out, dog. I rolled the dice, I got the door open, and I saw something absolutely horrific. And if you played Baldur's Gate, and you might know what I'm talking about, I won't spoil it, but it was horrific. It was disgusting, and I regret looking in that barn. But it was a hell of a moment. Like I said, I just went to this circus, and the circus was like, Jesus Christ, it was a hell of a moment. It almost reminded me of, like, Chrono Trigger, like the circus down there. Now, you weren't doing as much there, but it was a very interesting situation down there in the mushroom, or at the circus. But the mushrooms, oh my god, dude. So back where I was at in the underground area, there's, like, this weird mushroom colony, and I ended up kind of becoming the king of the mushroom people down there a little bit. And, oh my god, the way I killed their king was so goddamn ridiculous. Like, I was sitting there like, this is me, like, getting to understand some of the things of Baldur's Gate combat-wise. And I realized, I was like, I'm fighting this guy on this giant, like, kind of mountaintop, and I'm like, I wonder if I could just push him. And I pushed him, and he fell off, and I killed him instantly, and that was the end of this really hard fight. And I was like, oh, that was it. Oh, sweet. So that was awesome and extremely funny, and I was like, I fucking love this goddamn game. This is so freaking cool. They made me the king of the mushroom people, and there's like a lot. Oh my god, man. There's just so much going on with the fucking storyline. Like, down in the mushroom, there's a lot going on down there. Like, the mushroom dude was like, you go kill this guy, and then he was like, no, don't kill me, you go kill that guy. And then you go back and you're like, hey, he wants me to kill you. He's like, no, don't listen to him, you kill him. And it's a lot of backstabbing shit going on, a lot of he said, she said going on. I just got into this, like, weird murder mystery in this, like, church, this temple or something. I walked in, and, like, someone got fucking murdered, and I'm like, all right, let's fucking see what's going on. And then I ended up going down to the basement, and I found this, like, huge underground, like, fucking cave system, and now I'm going down the rabbit hole, down this huge fucking murder mystery situation that's going on, and I'm just loving every fucking minute of it. It is absolutely awesome, man. I'm blown away with this game. I'm absolutely blown away. I love it. The narrator as well, I forgot to shout that out. Like, you'll be walking into situations. You got like similar. I'd like to Dungeons and Dragons. You got like the dungeon master or whatever. They're like, oh, you walked up to this fucking cave and you hear these noises. What do you want to do? And the narrator is great. Like just the way that she lets you know what's going on. It's just a great way to involve you more into the story, get you more engaged into the story. I mean, oh god, I love playing this game. Back at the camp, you got some more side characters. Withers, oh my god, Withers. I have seen some things with Withers. He's just like this creepy, demonic dude that will. He's basically there to let you like re-roll your character. Like I went to him to change my class, so you could change your class on the fly for a small price. I will say it wasn't a very big price, and it adds a lot of variety. It's kind of like Elden Ring, how in Elden Ring you can just kind of like, oh, I want to be a close combat guy now. You can just do that, but I'm so engrossed with all the spells that I have at my hand with the wizard, and oh god, there's just Jesus Christ, more with the combat. So it's got your RPG stuff, like you're leveling up and stuff, and very differently. Like you level up very, very slowly. Like I think I'm level 8. I might be level 9. Like, yeah, you level, and I'm like 80, 90 hours in. So, like, maybe I'm leveling up once every 10 hours. It's very slow, and it's like a situation, like, whenever I level up. Now, it's very easy if you want to, like, bypass this, just be like a barbarian or something. But if you want it to be like, excuse me, this is where it gets, like, a little hardcore. When I'm like a wizard, like, I'm a wizard. So whenever I level up, I go through all my spells. It's like, all right, you unlocked like new level 5 spells now. So I'm going through all the level 5 spells. I'm like, ooh, what does that one do? Oh, that one sounds cool. Ooh. And then I start going down I'm like, ooh, oh, what kind of combos could I do with that? So if that's not your game, like, yeah, just be like a warrior or a fucking brawler, something simple. Because with Lizelle, whenever she levels up, it's literally like, all right, you get this perk, and here's your health increase, and off you go. There you go, you're done. But with the wizards, you're like, oh, I want to mix up my spell combos, because you can only take so many spells with you. And yeah, there's a fuckload of spells. There's so many spells, and a lot of them do such cool shit. The only thing that sucks about the spells is that, like, some of the spells, like, you can only use them on certain creatures. Some spells you can only use on only humans. Some you can only use on celestial things. So sometimes, like, you'll get into battles, like, half of your spells are useless. And a lot of the time, like, you're, like, the ones you really would love to use, they rarely work. It's like, oh man, I have this spell where it's basically like I curse them, like, really bad. Every turn they take this amount of damage. It makes them, they can't move very much. They can't, they're blinded. It, like, really fucks them up. And it's got, like, rarely will I get, like, over 40% chance of getting it. And you're rarely gonna get it. So it's like, oh, do I want to waste a turn, or do I want to do something? Like, I'm really addicted to, there's a spell called Magic Missile, and I'm addicted to that spell. I've been using it ever since the beginning of the game, because it never misses. It doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but it never misses. So it's like, that's really, really crucial in Baldur's Gate, because, you know, a miss or a fucking critical hit could make or break your whole entire battle. You can be, like, some of the longer battles I've been in could be, like, over an hour. And if you forget to make a quick save or something halfway through, and you fucking miss, and then they hit a critical and, like, really fucks you up, and you're like, shit. And you, like, fucking mess up the whole battle, and you gotta start all over again. So shit like that. It's very similar to XCOM. Like, XCOM had the very same thing, where it's like, all right, I got to take this shot, and sometimes it'd be super ridiculous. In XCOM, it's kind of a meme where you're literally, like, you got a shotgun pointed right in between their eyelids, and it's like, you got an 80% chance, and you're like, how? And you miss, and you're like, what the fuck? It's not that bad. It's definitely a lot more lenient than it was in XCOM. XCOM can be absolutely ruthless at times, but yeah, I mean, it's just a game that you would want to, I would highly recommend quick saving very, very often, because you could just get, like, I get just so lost in the combat of the game. I'm just thinking so much about what I want to do and thinking about where they're going to go. And it's like chess. It's just, you're thinking about your next move, what moves they're going to do, and planning. And you got like spells and potions at any moment. It's like, oh, should I pull out this spell? Like, like pulling out a spell at the right time. Like, you can just buy like scrolls and shit like that. It's like, oh, I could pull out this invisibility scroll right now, and that's just gonna game change everything. There's just so much strategy to Baldur's Gate combat. I love it. And yes, like I said, I know people don't all love it, but damn, dude, this is going to be one of the toughest game of the years for me personally. I mean, it's hard to compare, because Baldur's Gate 3 and Tears of the Kingdom are so very, very different. It really comes down to personal taste. And that's something we'll be talking about at the X's. I won't be spoiling that conversation for today, but those are definitely, Baldur's Gate 3 and Tears of the Kingdom are going to be very much so at the tops of my list so far this year. If I had to put a score on Baldur's Gate 3 today, it's a 9.5 out of 10. Easily. The only thing that's holding this game back is its camera issues. And just kind of like the general traversal is not like my favorite. Like, especially at the beginning, man, I was so baffled. I was so confused with how to move. Like, thank God my sister was there to kind of walk me through the first hour or two of the game, because like I didn't understand. Like, I was like, how the fuck do I get up there? Like, there's like a little platform. Like, it looks like I can get up there. It's a little bit awkward, but like I said, once you get going, it's not good. Like, I'm not going to say that it's good, but once you get going, you'll be fine. So those are really the only two things. Other than that, like, the music is some of the best I have ever fucking heard. Like, it is so epic in scale and big, and it just fits the game flawlessly. It fits so freaking good. The voice acting and the characters are some of they may end up being like my all-time favorite. This group of characters are so fucking good. I love them. They're so good. I want to have sex with all of them. But I'm holding back on Karlach because I just want her to be my friend. I was just so smitten at the fact that she just wanted to have a hug with me, and that's all I needed from her. So that was amazing. Graphically, it holds up. It looks really good. It's not the best looking game, but in terms of its size, it's fucking really, really goddamn good. I imagine on some of the higher end PCs, this game could look rather stunning. But on PlayStation 5, look good. Looks really good. Looks good. And what else is stuff out there? I really love the combat. Love that combat. Fucking the dice rolling, the choices are bananas, dude. Like, I mean, I can't spoil anything, but fuck, man, there was a choice that I made that I'm still thinking back on. I'm like, fuck, I don't know if I did the right thing right there. Like, I was doing it for the homie, and, some of the other homies were like, yo, that homie ain't right. But I'm like, yo, that's the homie. That's the homie. So, I got to do whatever I got to do for the homie. So it is what it is. It was a really tough decision, but like, it's a great thing to have that. Like, I just don't have that in Starfield. I don't feel like my decisions really matter all that much. I know where they're going. And in Baldur's Gate, like, a decision that I made like 12 hours ago might rear its head like 10 hours down the road. I'm like, whoa, shit. Whoa. This game's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. I'm very, very happy that it's become a hit, and Larian Studios is starting to get some love right here. I have played Divinity Original Sin 2. That was back in my PC days, but it was just a game that I had no idea what I was doing. I was very intrigued by it. There was a lot that I liked about it. I couldn't get into it, sadly. Maybe now, after I get through Baldur's Gate, I might be a little bit more familiar with Divinity Original Sin 2. I might be able to play that game because it just looks really cool. It looks like a game that I would love, so maybe I'll be able to try it again, but holy shit, man, Baldur's Gate 3, it is an absolute game changer. Like, it literally kind of ruined Starfield for me as I was playing it, but it's not Baldur's Gate 3's fault. It's just that fucking good of an RPG. It's such a good story, and I'm not even like I feel like I'm barely even scratching the surface of what this story is, and it just keeps getting crazier. It's quite wild. So, and it's a very, very big game. I understand. In a world like, and in times like this, even I'm in the mood for short games like Cocoon. I was so just into it being like 3 or 4 hours. I'm like, oh, I need more of this in my life right now, because every game wants to be 100+ hours. But this game, not once has it felt like a drag. Not like I'm always intrigued to get to the next area, to get to the next part of the story, to find the next piece of my companion's story, to see what's around the corner, what's in that house, what's in that cave, what's in that box, what's in the fucking box. I mean, they are really fucking just pulling me in. This game is doing a phenomenal job at it, and I will say I'm a pretty tough critic when it comes to, or not really a critic, I'm just not, I don't get pulled into stories very often, and I think that's more of a me thing. I just prefer gameplay, but Baldur's Gate 3, man, like it's just hitting so hard in terms of gameplay, story, characters, atmosphere. It's hitting on so many marks. This is a masterpiece. It could be a 10 out of 10 by the time I get to the end of it, if it really nails the landing, and maybe we get a little waterworks. Maybe if I cry a little bit, this could be a 10 out of 10. But I'm not there quite yet, but I still have, I imagine, quite a long ways to go with Baldur's Gate 3. But I think that's all I want. I just needed to get this Baldur's Gate weight off my chest. I needed to talk about it, and everybody else has been talking about it, and I hope more and everyone should play this game. I hope they figure it out and get this game out on Xbox. The thing that's holding it back on Xbox is that they're trying to figure out how to get it split screen co-op to work, which I haven't even tried, and I think that is absolutely mind-blowing that this game is doing that. Now, I don't know how good this game would be for co-op because of how good the story is. It depends, I guess, on what person you're playing it with. I think this game would be, it could be amazing with a friend to play with. But right now I'm playing it solo. It could be, I could definitely see myself at some point going through this game again someday in a co-op way. I haven't really heard anyone talking about it co-op, so let me know if anyone out there is playing it. How are you enjoying Baldur's Gate 3? Don't spoil anything, please, for the love of God. And if you're interested in Baldur's Gate 3, I would say pull the trigger. I was nervous a little bit too, but goddamn, am I ever pleasantly surprised and happy that I pulled the trigger on Baldur's Gate 3. I'm loving it, and can't wait to play some more of it. I'm going to go play some more of it, and I highly recommend you get Baldur's Gate 3 as well. It is so freaking good. And that is it for me, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to my little podcast. You want to help me out, send down a little review. Let me know what you think of the podcast, and hit that star rating and all that good stuff. Help out the little guy and all that great stuff. And if you want to listen or watch these, I upload them on YouTube. Gamer GX videos. The link is down there in the description. If you want to send in any questions, comments, concerns about video games, wrestling, hockey, or questions about the podcast or anything, send them on in. I can read them live on the podcast. That would be a lot of fun. That would be really, really fun, in fact. So you can leave a comment on the YouTube channel. I got a Twitter page. Link is in the description for that as well. I'll put up announcements sometimes like a week early. It's like, I want to talk about this week. So if you see it, you can send in a question, and then I can answer it on the podcast that week, and that'd be really key. And what else we got? There's also an email address there as well if you just want to send in like a personal thing. You don't want to have your question read out live or anything like that. You just want to have a private conversation or anything like that. That email address is there for you as well. And go back and listen to any of the prior GamerCasts. They age like a fine wine, so you can go back and listen to any of the prior 63 episodes now. The Versus series is a lot of fun. You can go check those out. They're all a lot of fun. It's video games. Video games are a lot of fun. And so is Baldur's Gate 3. So again, thank you everybody so much for listening. We'll be back again soon with some more GX Plus Cast.